Hi, good afternoon, everyone. This is a presentation about the work orders in Anata IDMS using that is an add-on for Dynamics 365. It's prepared exclusively for Lazy Days RV. And my name is Tiago Silverio. I'm going to be walk you guys through the process of the work orders. And in the agenda, we are going to talk overall about work orders, how do we create them, how we assign a job list for it, a little bit about the different steps that we have inside the work order, how to do scheduling of that work order, and also how to do the item consumption and to post the hours associated to that work order. Now let's move really quickly to Dynamics 365. Using Anata IDMS solution on Dynamics 365, we have a new module called Work Order Management. Inside Work Order Management, we basically set up a couple of different things, like we can have maintenance plans that I'm going to be talking in another video. We have a schedule services that's basically where you can set up a predefined service plan for your customer. We can have work request, that's basically a draft of a work order, so where there is basically no validation to make the process faster. We can set up how to do warrant claims. We can set up and other information about pricing and campaigns. What is important for us in this video is the work order. So I'm going to go ahead here in the work orders and work orders, open the menu, and we're going to be able to see the list of work orders that we have at this point on this company. The work orders basically has a color system, so you can set up like according to the priority, what is going to be the color of the line, so you can see where to focus, and based on that, you can basically take decisions on which order you should prioritize on your workstation. I'm going to create a new order over here. Sorry, that's the wrong one. Let's create a new order over here. And I'm going to look for a device. So one of the units that we have in our inventory. So let's search for one. I'm going to use the 52. That's a unit that's already sold. And the first thing that happens is that he shows me a list of other work orders that are open and pending for this particular device. So that helps you guys to sometimes consolidate the work orders, because I can just flag them here and include them as child orders of my order. Or sometimes I may see, oh wow, I already have an order for this particular unit, and that happens a lot, because for instance, if you schedule the maintenance plans and you have a batch job automatically creating the planned orders for that, you're going to have these orders over here, and I'm going to see that you have a planned order for this device because it already reached maybe 6 months of operation, or a year, or maybe a mileage. So the orders are going to be showing here. Then you can just use the planned order and confirm it and start working with that. I'm not going to include any of those orders over here, but we can also see the details of those orders. All right, when I select the device number over here, another information that's populated is the customer. How does it know which customer it is? Because it happens because during the sales process, we sold to this customer, and what Anata creates is something called custodians. The custodians are basically people that interact somehow with this order, and I talk a little bit about that in other parts. But basically, you can see who is the owner of that device at that moment. So if you go over here, we can see that we have Tiago as the owner and the current custodian of this device. And we can also add more people here and just select which one we want at the time of the time that we create a service order, a work order for it. Let's go back there. Okay, so basically brought all the information. This is marked as a work order repair, but that's a standard functionality, a standard setup. We can change it depending on, we can have multiple order groups for preventive, EDI, you have different options for that. We can set up priority. We can say that this is a low priority. We don't need to worry about that. And if you keep going over here, that's the first part that we can collect. First of all, you can see here that we have warranty information. So that basically tells you, okay, so at this point there is a standard warranty for units, and the period of that warranty is from 2018 to 2012. When that happened, when did you add that to this device? At the time that you invoice the sales order, it activated the warranty. So basically, and you can see that in the sales order process, that at the time that you invoice, that information about the warranty is basically activated at the device. Other thing that we can fulfill here is basically the symptoms, causes, and solutions for the problem. So sometimes we can have a customer that has different complaints. We can just fill that but we also have here standard tests to help you fulfill the orders and keep a pattern to make sure that your order is going to be more, have more of a standard format. We can check a symptom, we can check cause, solution. So basically, we can set up a standard test for everything. So and we can have multiple tests. So let's say that's a brake system problem. So let's mark it over here. The cause at this point we are not going to fulfill because we're just creating the order, so we have no idea why is that. The workshop, basically we can select some information here. We're going to say that this is going to happen in Tampa. So let's just select Tampa. We can have an active reception here that's going to be Julia. That in this case it's me. Yeah. And also we can have a service advisor. At this point, I don't have anyone allocated as a service advisor for Tampa. That's why we don't see anyone. So for instance, if I change it here and go to workshop location 1, that is Vernon Hills, we would have a different resource, and we have different service advisors as well. Let's go over here. Continue with Tampa. So Julia is going to be the responsible. All right, so as we select this, we can see two options. Workshop planning, that's basically it's an inquiry only, and the schedule is where we actually do a setup. With the workshop planning, we basically can see what is the availability of the workshops in a specific interval. We have some predefined options here to filter, to change the dates. We can see, for instance, next year or current period, like that. We can see that this current period is going to change for February. If you check next, it's going to go to March. So basically we have information over here, and to select which would be the appropriate workshop for this order. As after we decide that, we can do the schedule. So with the schedule, basically we can see the timeline of the process, and we would be able to select in a week where we would create that particular time zone. So basically we can select that, and he's going to transfer that information to the order. And as we can see here, the dates are going to start changing. So we can, as I was mentioning, we can select the scheduling, and it's going to update the times here. Before we select it, let's just go to the job list, because we already know that there's a problem in the brake system, and so we're going to go over the job list that we have. So job lists are basically a list of tasks and items that needs to be used to be executed to perform some kind of job in the unit. You can have general job lists that's basically for inspections or any tasks that are not really, that is generic for every single one of the units. And you can also have for specific job lists that are going to be tasks for a specific brand or device. What drives that is basically this operation code here, because as you create one, and I'm not going to go, this is not the appropriate moment. Let me show that. But so when we edit a job list, we have the operation code here. That's basically how we're going to be associating, to each item we're going to be associating this job list. So if you put a brand, we're going to associate that with a particular brand. So this job list can only be executed for Thor, for instance. Since this is a common, can be executed for any brand that we have. Okay, I'm going to select the brake replacement because probably there we will have here the procedures. We can see that we have an operation number called replace brakes, and we have an item number saying that is the brake pads, and we have that in 8 units for this, and that needs to be used 8 for that. And the brakes, it's 4 hours of work basically to execute, and you have a summary here with based on pricing as well. Okay, let's move forward. So I marked that. I'm gonna click OK. That job list is gonna be added to this order. We can add order. For instance, we could potentially include here also general inspection since the device is there or the unit is there, washing the car or something like that. So basically, we can add everything that are going to be executing during the zone. In the location, we're going to have a person in charge. We have a primary resource group that's going to be in probably engine break. So we're going to use break. So it's a team member. And associated to that, we're going to have resources. That's going to be the team members. And we have the worker number here. That's going to be the team members that's going to be executing those tasks. Okay. Okay, we have that. So we're going to go to schedule again. Let's get a week and let's check how it is in right now. So let's use from 9. I'm going to schedule it from here. So now we have our work order. We can see the hierarchy here if there are more orders associated to that. And so how does it work? So for instance, maybe the guy comes from a standard inspection, and as you guys start doing the investigation, you will see that you need to do additional job for that. So basically you can create sub work orders and create quotations, get an approval from the customer, and execute those work orders later. And as you continue to finish the process of the main order. Okay, so here, basically all the information that we have there was copied here to the purchase order. And the process, the step that we need to show now is basically how we evolve that order until we get to the end of the process. Okay, so first step now is posting the arrival. Okay, so that device arrived to our workshop. And to do that, it's basically posting the arrival for order. That means that the customer brought the car for us and delivered it to us. We can start just, if you add additional work order, we can start the main one or move the sub lists, and we can also force the print to print the job list already at this point. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to post the arrival of this unit. Okay. So after the posting is done here, we can go and start checking some information about the item registration. So for instance, we can check over here that the job list, we need to assign a job list again. So let's assign this job list and include it to the project. So I just refreshed the task list so we can see it, the job list so we can see it. So if you go here to the item requirements, we're going to have the break paths that we have in the job list. If you go here to the timesheet, we will be able to see the operation for and the responsible to execute the task and how many time and cost price for that particular resource. Okay. Next step is basically posting the job list. That's the job card. That's basically the task that the team member are going to be executing. Let's print this one, show it on the screen. We can include, again, purchase orders and print the warranty details. I'm going to add this as well. Job list. And let's just run it over here and see the result of this report. This is operation created. Okay, it's fine. I did a mark to print on the screen. We can just check it again. So let's just go over here. And let's just reprint it. It's just easier. Journals, job card. And we can come here. And we can see the details of that particular job card. Or we can just click here, order journal, and we can print it. So basically here we can see the information for that particular unit, customer, work order number, symptoms that we collected, and everything that is there, as long as we mark the options were there. Okay. All right, going back to the order. We print the job card. We already know that there's only one task. So the next step is start actually working on the unit. So if you go here in the manage, actually in the work order, first let's take a look at the item that we're going to be needing for that. So, okay, we have a duplicated line here. Let's just remove, we just need one. So let's then, let's take a look at the go into inquiry, explosion, and you'll be able to see if you have that unit on inventory. I'm going to click on update, and this is a part of the demand forecasting video. We're gonna be able to see it there. And basically we can check here that the expected delivery date is March the 8th. So we wouldn't be able to start this right now because we just have a planned purchase order that is scheduled, but it's still not received. So what I'm going to be doing here, I'm going to stop the video really fast, and I'm going to post this purchase order. Actually, I can do that right now. Let's just go over here. I'm going to approve this order. And we need to farm this order. So just farm it. It's going to be converted to a vendor. It's not specified, so let me change it. Order. Second. So I farmed that order and just had to finish to add the vendor. So we basically updated the screen, so we don't have it anymore. So if we close this over here and we come back to the planning part and we update, this should change to a purchase order. And then we can basically recalculate now, post, confirm, post, and run all the jazz on this order. I'm gonna stop the video, and so we can check it. Okay, and I'm gonna go all the way to the invoice part. Okay, so I received that purchase order, so now we have it on hand. We also have another plan or purchase order that's gonna be for the future. So we're just gonna go back now and finish consuming those items in our work order. So, okay, so we are here in the work order. Let's go now to the posting here in the top. Generate picking list or pack and sleep. In our case, let's just post the pack and sleep already. And we're gonna basically consume those items against this project. So hit OK. And basically we receive that we invoice those units. So this part of the process is already done. It's important to remember that this is a project, this is an item list, so we can add more items here if necessary manually. We don't need to actually post the exact numbers that is here. So we can adjust these formulas any way that we need. So now let's go back to the work order and let's do the hours posting now. So we have the clock in, clock out functionality. We can just come here, select the resource that's going to be working. I'm going to use Julia. And we need to select the task in the operation that she's working. So she's going to check here in the list, and we know that she's going to play a replace of breaks. So we're going to select this one, and we can mark the hours that he has. So we click here. We basically assign that resource to that work order. I'm going to open another tab over here because I want to show that we have another way to inquire for the work orders where we can basically select or see the status of the overall of your work orders. So if you check here, work orders in process, actually work order progress, we have an overall of the status of our work orders. So basically right now check the 1010 here, it's marked as not started, and that's because I didn't posted the last journal. So let's go back over there, posting, and since now we have the guy associated to that, let's take a look over here, and we can see that we have different stats for each order. So basically, we can track everything that's happening. For instance, we can see that this one exceeded the time that was expected. We have a filter for less than 20% of the sun time, work in progress, not started, not assigned, and we can set up this like to be a refreshing time. We can just reset this, and you can let this on a screen. Just keep that updating so we can follow up the operation in case you want. So going back here, we're gonna now clock out Julia and finish the posting of the hours. So let's just go clock out. We're gonna mark here only out. Select Julia. We're gonna mark that we finished this task, and it already selected the task and everything that she was working there. Task completed. So let's finish this. We're gonna have an update from this order. So it's changed to finish. We can just come here. Let's refresh. Take a look how is the current status. And we can continue posting the status here. All right. Yeah, the behavior of the status there is not exactly what I was expecting, so we can just continue setting up this. So the order is basically finished right now. So now the next step is basically posting, doing the review of the order, where a supervisor is going to be doing the review. So as we create it, it's going to have a job. This job is associated to another person. The person can execute this step, and after that, we can close. Okay, print that as well, and we can finish that order. Also, now we're going to show the last step. That's basically invoice the customer. Okay, so we have the closure. It put like overall how was the cost and everything associated to that. And if you come back here, we cannot check post anymore in the information. We just have the time entered over here. And this one. And we can get from check here the order, the current status and everything. So now let's check the last step of the process. That's basically create the invoice against the customer. So to generate the invoice against the customer, we can use these options over here. So I'm going to generate the pro forma only, just so we can take a look at it. So you see that it's invoicing against the customer contract. The invoice account is that particular customer, and we can select basically whatever we want to include. We can include the hours, expenses, any sales order line that we want to charge directly with the customer, fees, items. So basically, we have a lot of flexibility over here to charge the customer. I'm gonna cancel this one, and I'm gonna generate the invoice. Oh yeah, before we post the invoice, we have an adjustment area over here. So with this, basically, a supervisor can come to these orders, check whatever is associated to those orders, and we can try to do adjustments. So we could potentially select the project here, activity number and everything, and change the numbers to do some kind of correction or to include or remove any task based on customer negotiation or internal evaluation. Back to the invoice, just post the invoice over here, and we're gonna generate an invoice and charge this against our customer project. There you go, we have our invoice. Basically, include the items over here. So I believe that the hours for are not included for some reason over here, probably because we mark those hours as non-billable hours. So let's take a look at summary. We have the customer here. But anyway, we basically, that's how we create the order, and we process the order and invoice the customer by the end of the day. Last piece that I want to show here from this process, from the service process, is open the device and or your unit. Show a little bit really fast the device tab that we have the transactional log. And this is a really nice tool because basically you have here every single transaction that you run against that particular unit. So basically you can see the purchase that happened, you can see quotation, you can see journals that were posted in their filter. So basically you can track every single status of the process. If there is a PDI, transportation, quotation, everything. It's basically everything. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much for watching. See you guys in the next video.